Have you tried the combinations from all of my other current videos, or maybe you just don't have some of those Pokemon? No problem. Today we'll give you some new ones to try, and/or new scenarios, and going up against the Team Go Rocket leaders, starting off with Arlo. This will be the only one that I have 2 screens for right now today. I did this just because Arlo in the current Team Go Rocket lineups, with his Pineco team, it just seemed to be the battle that was the most simple. Just consequently this go around with the leaders, I just didn't make as many videos on Arlo in total, so let this here serve as 2 guides for some more choices. Flareon absolutely just whooped up the Pineco, no problem. These accounts are actually a little bit below level 40. Normally I do like to stick with a level 40 account, but sometimes it's okay for me to go with maybe one that's a little bit lesser, like my wife's account on the right side, and a viewer who so helpfully donated their account basically to the cause on the left side. The point with those, I would say, is just that they have kind of less options, whereas mine that's level 40, I kind of basically have any option that I can think of, almost. Anything I could dream. So this does just kind of show you the power of the evolutions. You know, that's usually a pretty common thing. Flareon and Vaporeon have been in the game since the beginning. Eevee's had its own community day, spotlight hour, all that goodness. My hope really would be that you would have these. So again, it's like we have tons of other videos just on all of the leaders so far on this channel, and this is more just a guide for, well, let's use some different options that weren't shown off in those videos. They're not always going to be the most 100% optimized, or like they're going to fit within the Great League and still win, or something like that. I mean, Vaporeon is a monster, so you can just see it on the right side right there. When it's got Water Gun and Aqua Tail, even just dealing neutral damage, I mean, the idea here is that you're stunning them like mad. And Flareon, kind of a similar effect here. It's more just being super effective against all of those. You know, that Flareon is within the Ultra League, but what we saw right there was just sort of a blowout. I mean, Flareon took down almost all of them, so didn't do too bad at all before fainting. But you heard me mention, of course, stunning them and stuff. If you are just brand new to the Team Go Rocket battles and these leader fights, I would actually suggest, if this is your first video watching of mine, you actually go back to one of the more, let's say, powerful optimized teams or something. But just to explain this principle further, if you guys didn't know, every single time that you use a charge move or they use a charge move, the Team Go Rocket side's Pokemon are actually going to stand still, and during that stagnation time, that's you should actually not fire off another charge move, even if you got it. You know, just kind of hold off and keep building up energy until just before the Team Go Rocket side is about to attack again. That's when you want to do it. So you could basically get to a point where they will just be standing still like the entire time. A lot of Pokemon that have access to Aqua Tail can kind of do that. So we got the victory, and now we're going to be going up against Sierra right here. I'm sure you guys noticed, but at some point somewhere, maybe top pinned comment, description, all of the above, I am going to have little timestamps, so you'll just be able to go to the leader that you want to see if you don't want to see actually every single one of them. Sierra, by far, having that Shadow Lapras, that was the one I got the most amount of comments from, just all the viewers. And I did kind of mention it in passing, but Sceptile, absolutely amazing against the Lapras, only if it's got Water Gun. So something I always emphasize with these Team Go Rocket fights is, like, you really want to know the movesets, because in Lapras's case, you know, this is one where it can be really a toss-up between, is it going to have Water Gun as its fast attack, or is it going to be using Ice, which would be Frost Breath for the Lapras? So this would go very differently, you know, if you're using a Grass counter. You know, Grass, this is great. Sceptile going up against Water, it's going to resist that. It's also going to do super effective damage. It has a move like Leaf Blade. That's the charge attack that we're basically focusing on. But when paired with the fast attack of Fury Cutter right here, man, Fury Cutter just generates that energy so fast, and Leaf Blade doesn't really require a lot of energy to fire off, and it does a decent chunk of base damage, while of course this is super effective against the Lapras. So again, Sceptile, pretty awesome choice, but you know, should it be reiterated? I hope I'm not just like beating this topic into your skull at this point, but please keep in mind, there are other videos. You know, we've done one where there's just, you know, one Pokemon that can beat her entire team. I've got a video on that. We've got Great League going up against Sierra. We've got like 3 videos that show off when it's a back-to-back Shadow Lapras team. You know, she's not always going to do that, but sometimes she'll send in another Lapras after having that first Lapras. You're at an impasse right there where, you know, the Sceptile had such low health, you could just eat that charge attack and save your shields for something later. You'd probably only do that if you just didn't quite have confidence in the rest of your lineup, or thought, you know, well, my Sceptile's not really going to get a lot more damage out, but in this case, that's not the truth. You know, our Sceptile can actually do a lot more right here. So I did actually, in fact, shield that, and once again, we took advantage of that stagnation period after the charge moves go out. It should also be noted, of course, that same principle applies when you switch out a Pokemon, so you might see it in all of these fights. We do a little bit of damage with that first Pokemon, but then we immediately switch out. That's to get that advantage of having more time, and it actually is just a slightly longer stagnation period than the charge attack. So again, something that you can do to edge the battles in your favor is to actually just do a switch immediately, a manual switch. Now, the same principle of stagnation periods happen when they faint too. So, you know, if you make this Executor faint, or the Lapras back then, you know, well, they're gonna stand still again. I went ahead, the Sceptile was on its last little bit of health, and we knew that we would basically lose it, but we could actually switch because we did have our switch ready. It is on a cooldown, you know, you can't just switch as much as you want, otherwise you could probably just switch the entire fight, and then they'll never move. So you saw that we put in a Gyarados right here, well below the Ultra League, to take down that Executor. Once again, plenty of other videos on this channel that show the really more optimized teams. This is just for those people who really wanted just more options. Maybe they've got a better Gyarados or Sceptile or whatever it may be that I show off. Again, it's kind of like, oh, well, I tried everything, maybe I can try these. And we'll have all those videos in a playlist and everything that is readily available to you guys. And so this Houndoom is almost down. Essentially, the thing about Gyarados right now is that it had a community day, obviously, Magikarp community day, that gave Gyarados Aqua Tail. We mentioned Aqua Tail earlier, and when paired with Dragon Breath, not too bad, not too bad. So that Houndoom met its demise, and we're moving on to Cliff. So this is one of those cases where it's, once again, pretty evident. You know, Hariyama, not a terrible Pokemon by any means. It's actually spawning like crazy right now for the large-size Pokemon event that's going on when I'm currently recording this. We're first going to switch out to Flygon, though, just for it's the sheer fact of typings, you know. Hariyama would actually be dealing not very effective damage to that Grimer. Wouldn't be a good move to start with, but we were putting it out there to generate a little bit of energy before then switching and getting that stagnation period, that advantage. Here with our Flygon. Flygon's going to start us off right now. Gosh, we've shown off so many options, you know, and we've actually done a video where Stunfisk defeats Cliff's entire team all by itself. You got to check that out. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and shield the first attack right here from the Grimer. It's a Sludge Bomb. That wouldn't be super effective against us, but I mean, these Shadow Pokemon, they will hit hard. And should it need to be said, I mean, I guess it should. This fight, as well as the Sierra fight, these are with a level 40 account, and so Team Go Rocket does scale up or down the CP based on the player's level. So level 40 is obviously going to put the Team Go Rocket's Pokemon at the highest they can be for the most challenge, I would say. So Flygon, I mean, it has access to Earth Power here. This Flygon that we're using, that's going to do a lot, but I mean, really, we had already sort of weakened that Grimer to just past halfway anyway. Now, one thing that I did notice is that across my Cliff videos, I actually had not shown one going up against Machamp. His Machamp can be pretty crazy, especially when we're level 40 and it's just at its maximum abilities. And so Executor, you know, that's a Pokemon that's kind of interesting because, yeah, Machamp is going to deal not very effective damage, you know, so we'll resist as long as it's using counter as its fast attack. Again, you should always pay attention. What are those fast attacks, you know, because, for instance, when we did that Stunfisk fight, the Grimer actually would have done really well against it if it was using ground, but it was using poison. But Executor, once again, it has access to a psychic moveset, of course, while resisting because of its typings. There are going to be lots of Pokemon that work every single time. I know people just love to leave comments on my videos saying, like, I use this, I use that, I use this, I use that. It's like, I guess that's fine. I'm just saying, you know, my videos, I have only, you know, so few minutes to tell you just every single thing I want to tell you, like an entire encyclopedia of this game. So that's why I feel they should never be watched as just one video, one and done. I mean, hey, if it makes you win, I guess, but I'm just saying to understand Team Go Rocket fights, it's good to see them all. Now, Hariyama right here going to be able to shine a little bit. Going up against Tyranitar, it is actually going to be closer than I thought. Now, whenever you use fighting, I mean, that's a great choice going up against Tyranitar. And like I say, there are a lot of better options, but Hariyama at least has the bulk. And so right there, you saw a pretty easy victory after just one dynamic punch. But I referenced them like a million times, so why not take that opportunity now to see the full playlists for each of the leaders. Those are going to be on screen. So many superior options, but hey, maybe you didn't have them. Maybe you just wanted more. So that's what this video was for. Much love. I'll catch you on the next vid, and thanks for viewing.